Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at survival riddles to test your logic. Do you think you have a logical mind? Well, if you do, then put it to the test and see if you would survive these situations. In this video, we're going to see riddles on how to escape things and also how to solve mysteries. But first, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? First off, we have which door? A man named Bob is trapped in a room. He's been taken there against his will and he can't get out. He manages to run to another room, and in that room there are 3 doors. Now, every single door will eventually lead to freedom, but behind every door there's something in Bob's way. In the first door there's a burning fire. In the second door there's liquid nitrogen, which would freeze him. And in the third door there's a psychopath who took 300 lives in 1890. So now it's time for you to help Bob escape. Which door does he run out of? Does he choose door 1, 2, or 3? I'll give you guys some time on screen now to work it out. Okay, which door did you pick for Bob? Well, the correct answer was door number 3. He couldn't have gone through the first door as it had fire which would have burnt him. He also couldn't have gone through the second door as he'd be frozen by the liquid nitrogen. If you didn't get this one right, you may be asking, but what about the psycho who was behind the third door? After all, he did take 300 lives. But you have to look at the detail here. Remember, I said he took those lives back in 1890. This was nearly 130 years ago. So obviously that psycho would have passed on himself a long time ago. So Bob should have taken the third door and just walked past the psycho's skeleton. But if you didn't get Bob to freedom, then don't worry. Try out the other riddles on this list. Next up is the millionaire. Imagine if you were trapped in a house with a killer. It's important to have good logic and riddle solving skills in that situation. One day, a millionaire named Mr. Sterling was found in his mansion's bedroom. There was a red pool around him as his life had been taken. All of the windows and doors to his room were locked, meaning it must have been somebody in his house. Seeing as Mr. Sterling was a millionaire, he did have 4 workers in his house at that time. The first person was the butler. The butler said that when he heard Mr. Sterling scream, he ran to the room. He then said he turned on the light and saw Mr. Sterling was not alive. The next person who was questioned was Mr. Sterling's assistant. She said she ran up to the room with the butler, and when the butler turned on the light, she saw Mr. Sterling's body. The next person who was spoken to was the maid. The maid said she came to wake up Mr. Sterling, and when she saw he wasn't alive, she screamed. And finally, Mr. Sterling's chef was questioned, and he said he was prepping breakfast and didn't see anything. So, based on what these 4 workers said, who did it? I'll give you guys some time on screen now to work it out. Did you get it right? Well, the answer was Mr. Sterling's maid. Remember, his assistant and the butler said they had to turn on the light to see what happened. But the maid said she came to wake Mr. Sterling up. But when she realized he wasn't alive, she screamed. However, if the room was dark, then she couldn't have realized that he wasn't alive. That is, unless she already knew Mr. Sterling wasn't alive because she was the killer. If you got this right, then you're a great judge of character and you can work out whether someone's lying or telling you the truth. Next up is missing spy. For this riddle, you need to put yourself in the shoes of James Bond. One day, an MI6 spy went missing, but seeing as he was a spy, he was able to leave a code for his fellow agents. This secret code was to tell the other agents who had taken him, but he had to do it in a special code to make sure whoever was taking him didn't destroy the code. His fellow agents knew there were only 3 people responsible for taking him. Those people were Mark, Alex, and Bill. And the special code the spy left was 17158177. So, based on that code and the suspects, can you work out who took this spy? I'll give you guys some time on screen right now to work it out. Did you guys work out this code and figure out who took the spy? If you did, then you should join up to MI6 or the CIA. But in case you didn't, what you had to do was flip the numbers upside down. You then had to convert these numbers to their alphabetical meaning. As you can see, an upside down 1 and 7 should be it. An upside down 1 and 5 should be is. And an upside down 8117 should be Bill. Did you guys work out this cryptic code to get your fellow agent back? If you did, then well done. But now it's time for Miss Moneypenny to give you your next assignment. And that is which hole? In this situation, a prison inmate has broken out of jail. He's now arrived at a wall with 3 holes in it. Inside one of the holes is a cop. Inside the other hole is a lion who hasn't eaten in 3 years. And inside the last hole is a massive fire. Behind each of those things is freedom. But the prison inmate has to pick which of these he has to encounter before getting free. So work out which hole the prisoner needs to escape through. I'll give you guys some time on screen to work it out. Alright, which hole is the prison inmate going to escape out of? Well, the correct answer was the middle door. That is because the lion hasn't eaten in 3 years. You may think this would make the lion hungry and angry, but if a lion hasn't eaten in 3 years, it means it would no longer be alive. So really, the prison inmate would just have to walk past a bunch of bones and then get to freedom. Obviously, if he took the police door, he'd be arrested again. And if he took the fire door, then he'd be burnt. So if you guys picked the middle door with the lion, then you guys have great logical thinking. Next up is breakfast. One day Jack's wife was missing, so he called the cop and the cop came right over to investigate this. Jack said the last time he saw his wife, she was having breakfast. He said goodbye to her and then left home for work. But when he got back home, the breakfast was still on the table and his wife was gone. But right after Jack said this, the cop arrested him. But why did he do this? I'll give you guys some time to work it out on screen right now. So why did the policeman arrest Jack after Jack gave his story? Well, the cop saw what you should have seen. That is, that the breakfast was still hot. This means Jack must have set the whole scene up before calling the police. And really, he was behind the disappearance of his own wife. And finally on the list, we have which path? In this list, a man is on the run. Someone scary is chasing him, but then he encounters a big problem. There are 3 different paths he could take. One is boiling hot lava, the second is a bed of nails, and the third is shards of glass. So which getaway should this guy take? I'll give you guys some time on screen right now to work it out. Okay guys, did you work out which path to take? It probably seems like you're doomed either way, but actually that's not the case. Now you cannot take the lava path as you'd burn. You also can't take the shards of glass as that would hurt you incredibly. Instead, the safe path is actually the bed of nails. That's right, the bed of nails actually would not injure you. If there is enough nails, then the weight will be distributed among them, so the pressure exerted by each nail is not enough to puncture your skin. Online, you can find many amazing videos of people walking on beds of nails. So hopefully these riddles and brain teasers have tested your survival logic. If you got all of these riddles correct, then check out some of my other riddle videos. Also, if you got many of these right, this likely means you're a very intelligent person. After all, only 20% of people get all of these riddles correct. Who knows, maybe you really could become a spy just like James Bond if you actually got all of these. But if you didn't, don't worry. Instead, try some of my other riddle videos and see if you get them right. But now it's time to vote in the poll in the top right corner. How many out of these 6 riddles did you get correct? If you got all 6, well done. Comment down below and I'll give your comment a heart. If you guys want to see more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There's a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.